It was windy, huh? Got my hair all messed up. So, Eury made some fancy drawings here. I mean, Eury, I am very impressed. Look at this magic drawing. There's nothing on it. Look, it's magic. Blank. How'd you do that, buddy? All right, ready to start the magic trick? Okay, here we go. This is just so amazing. I can't believe this is happening right before our eyes. Eury, how did you do this, man? Eury, I mean, absolutely amazing. Did your magic trick get stuck or something? What's going on? Oh, so the arrows. So I see how they're all going in towards that low, and it's all the same arrow. All right, ready? What's the magic word? 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. Unstuck. All right, that's good. So let's describe what we see there. Can you make the description pop up on there too? You could. Look at that. That is amazing. Great job, Eury. I'm super impressed with Eury. So high pressure, low pressure, how does the wind blow around these things? Super important to know. You got to be able to draw it. You got to be able to describe it with the words. But basically, if there's a low pressure system here and you have a town or a city here, the wind is going to be determined by that low pressure system, and it's going to swirl around the lows. So how the air moves around the sky is really important for the weather, and high pressure and low pressure determines that. So some other things with the high pressure and low pressure. Low is lousy. Super important. So low brings lousy weather. We have the fronts that come off of the low pressure system. We'll do a separate video with that. But this brings all the lousy weather. High pressure brings nice clear skies, usually a little bit cooler temperatures, but nice clear skies. So a couple things to remember this. The way that I remember that if I don't have my magic tricks is I draw an L, and if you draw an L, that's the way that the wind blows. Okay, and then the other thing to help remember that is wind blows from highs to lows. So the wind is blowing from the high to the low. So what's happening with the wind is if I turn this sideways like it's on the ground, so you can mentally picture there's the high and there's the low. Okay, high pressure means that air is squeezing down, it's sinking at the earth and it's pushing down on this card or the surface of the earth. And the low pressure, the air is rising up out of the earth, and so it makes a convection cell and it just blows. It rises up off the earth and then it sinks back to the earth, and then wind is when the air is blowing across the surface of the earth. So it's that convection that makes wind, and it blows from highs to lows. What makes the air want to rise up off the earth or sink down on the earth? Heavy air is high pressure. It sinks towards the earth. Cold air is heavier than warm air, and we know that. Warm air balloons rise, hot air balloons rise. Light air is less dense and it rises. The weird thing, this is really weird, if you add water vapor to air, and make it wet, humid air is actually lighter than dry air. It doesn't make sense. The short explanation is when you put water vapor in, it knocks out some heavier molecules. And when it knocks out those heavier molecules, it actually makes it lighter because you're adding a lighter molecule into the air. So warm and wet air is actually the lightest, so that's the lowest pressure. Cold and dry air is the heaviest, that's the highest pressure. That's why H's are blue and L's are red. So wind blows from highs to lows, okay? The way that it spins, remember you draw the L, and then you should be able to describe that and say which direction the wind would be blowing. Two other things to remember. When isolines are close, gradient's the most. So the bigger the difference in pressure, the stronger the wind will be. If you have a really high and a really low pressure system, you're going to have more wind. So we'll look at a couple questions with that. And then the other thing, I'm forgetting here for a second. Oh, all weather. So it doesn't matter if it's a high or a low. All weather in the United States basically comes across. The camera's in reverse. Hopefully this works the right way. It basically comes across. So it goes from California, it dips down a little bit, and then it comes back up. That's the jet stream. And so for New York State, the wind is usually coming from the southwest and it blows across kind of that northeast part of the country. So all weather kind of moves in this pattern across the country, and it just keeps repeating, and you're getting that pattern back and forth. So we'll do some of those questions. Eury, I mean, you are full of the magic today. I don't know how he's been studying this magic since we've been home. I'm amazed. The amazing Eury. Let's go through some of these questions, kind of quickly. They're pretty straightforward. You got a low pressure system. The jet stream blows this way, pretty much in that general pattern across the northeast. The wind would be coming. So it's going to be C. It goes along the path of the jet stream. This part of the country, wind generally blows this way, and the pressure systems come down, and then they swoop back up. And that causes a lot of different patterns that we'll have separate videos for, like thunderstorms for one. What graph shows the relationship between pressure and altitude? So when I'm doing a graph like this, I just take the first one. If the pressure is lower, where's there going to be low pressure? Up high or down low? Up high in the sky, there's less air. So I would put my dot here. And then more pressure, you would find more pressure lower in the sky down here. As you get higher up in the sky, there's less air, so there's less air pressure. So this would be choice B. Which atmospheric condition gives clear skies? Low is lousy. If low is lousy, high pressure is clear. I don't have a rhyme and flow for that. Which weather variable decreases when wind speed is increasing? More clouds. Visibility drops. It's getting nasty. Lousy. Low is lousy. What decreases? Air pressure. Wind velocity is greater at locations. Oh, you don't have the map there. Never mind about that question. We'll just crop that out. Get this out of the way here. You can see this here, and it's basically asking you, what way are the two pressure systems going to move? All weather kind of follows this jet stream in a general pattern like this. So the high and the low would be moving like D. What way does the wind blow around the low? So you got to remember that it follows the L. Your arrows are going to look like this. You've got to be able to draw those arrows like that. So it's blowing this way. So that is counterclockwise and towards the low. All right, I see a lot of clouds here. Surface wind circulation around the center of this storm system. You see a lot of clouds. It's a storm system. They want you to know that this is a low. Okay? So if that's the low, it's going to be counterclockwise. Winds blow from highs to lows. So they're blowing from wherever this high is to the low. So they blow in and counterclockwise. This one's an interesting question, kind of difficult. They wanted you to make up two random isobars to show when the strongest winds are. So when isolines are close, gradient's the most. The west side is the strongest wind, so I would draw my isobars like this, nice and close, and then further apart. They wanted you to draw two random isobars, so I try to get them close on the west side, and then further apart on the rest. So isolines are close, gradient's the most. The bigger the temperature difference, the more wind you'll have. The bigger the pressure difference, the more wind you'll have. I think I just misspoke. When you look here, this shows a barometer, and you can see that the pressure's up here in millibars, and the pressure drops quite a bit, gets down low, and then it goes up high again. So what this is just trying to figure out is what caused the changes in air pressure for the period of time shown on the graph. This would be like a low pressure system came in. And then you get pretty much a lot of similar questions here looking at Which map shows the likely location of clouds? Low is lousy. Which one shows low is lousy? High is clear. So this is the one that would make sense here for that. The way that it circulates, the first thing I do is I look for going around a low that way. Wind blows from highs to lows, so it's blowing this way and in, and then the opposite and out. So that would be there. Move this out of the way. Arrows on the map show that same wind pattern thing. So which one is kind of showing that? This way, and then the opposite for here, away from the high, so would be choice A. Eury just scolded me, forgot to mention what the two units are that we measure pressure in. You'll see it either in millibars or inches of mercury. Hg is the symbol for mercury there. Those are just the two units that we use. Barometric pressure